Okay, so good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you've all had a chance to relax a little bit today and try and get a grip on stresses of everyday life. I think I should start each show off by saying that it's really important that you take a second, a minute, 5 minutes, and just breathe deep with your eyes closed, preferably in a dark room and laying down. Don't try it while you're driving. That's not good for you. I was telling my cousin about it the other day while she was driving, and she had to cut me off because she started to fall asleep. So don't do it while you're driving. Lay down, close your eyes, listen to some soft music if you want. It takes a lot of practice to be able to do it with dead silence. So I found that a guided meditation is just the way for me, because I believe it's several levels above where I'm at, that you should be able to calm down just about anywhere, taking 2 and 3 hours at a time to calm down. So I'll work towards that. Anybody that's ever done that, let me know. I can take some tips. If you haven't done that, do it. I start to show off with a few minutes of music while I get everything set up here, and trying to make everything look good, trying to make it into a YouTube video, I guess. And just take the first couple minutes to talk about my day, talk about my life for a sec. Today was a 3 out of a 10, I would guess. First week is solid ones, and this is an interesting sort of way to rate them, and I learned it from Joe Biden, of all people. If you watch a video that he did, he was addressing a crowd of veterans that had fallen, their parents, and he had lost, I believe it was a daughter or a wife, or a daughter and a wife in a car accident. So he knew what he was talking about. He said that the first day's a 1. There's no doubt about it. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the absolute worst, day 1 is a 1. And you stay at 1 for a long time. But eventually, if you're marking a calendar, or you're being honest, that you get to 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out, and you just cannot compare it to the first day, the first week. Your mind goes completely sideways. It's traumatic, it's stress, and it leads to a disorder post-trauma. My hands shook for a long time. I still lose my cool random times, and each time that I do it, I find that there has to be an end to it. There has to be a time when you shut it down and stand back up. You can't continue to do it. It's not honoring the life that I still have in me, and it's not honoring the things I could still do. So we're going to do this. We're going to talk about the aftermath of suicide. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about grieving. We're going to talk about all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to add some links to my description. First thing, I've got some more links in from some other small streamers that I didn't even know what Twitch was a year ago. I knew what video games were, and I had my favorites, but then I found out this incredible thing. Some people are recording the games that they play and making YouTube videos out of them. Apparently the kids are all doing it. Oh, I just found out like a year ago. And so I found some guys that I liked, and I found out about Twitch, that they were streaming on Twitch to get all this content. I reached out to the ones I watched. The Running Man, JCon72, Tope. Thank you guys for all getting back to me. I'm going to add the descriptions in the channel. And so people in the UK, I have a vouched for sort of, I don't know, vetted source. It's the best I can do. I could Google all this stuff and find out things like that, but if anybody has any personal experience with some organization that they know has given anybody any help or was key in helping somebody, I'd really like to hear about that sort of a link, and I'll reach out to them if I need to. So, also really want to give a really big shout out to Dr. Mick. He said I could use that. He is an actual, if you've never seen him, check out his channel. It's great. I'm also going to put a link to other YouTubers or other Twitch streamers that you might like if you don't really like me. But Dr. Mick is a full-on PhD therapist, and he's a young guy. He's really quick, and his channel has it's all focused around mental health. He'll do a subject or so a week, or 3 subjects a week, and real big community on Discord, something to check out if you've never heard of it. He gave me permission to look through any links that he had on his channel, so I picked out a really good one I put in there, and I'll make sure he gets credit on that for it. It was a really good find that I wasn't aware of, and that's the only way you can really do this, is by looking and finding and then passing it on, or collecting it somewhere where somebody might just need it, stumble across it. So we're going to do that. Also want to say thanks to a couple of other dads that I spoke with this week who've been through similar situations and know exactly what I was talking about. One gentleman that I spoke with, we were chatting, and he said that he hadn't reached out to anybody. In his case, he hadn't reached out to anybody in 2 years. Had never really opened up about or just really said anything to anybody the way that we had just said things to each other. And I felt like that's exactly what I want to do. I want to reach out to people that can use a real voice to just validate how they're feeling. A lot of fathers in particular aren't good at communicating their thoughts or actually really even thinking it's a thing. I'll tell you, 4 months ago, I was an average guy. I had worked 20 years in an industry, and I had finally got my hands on to some ownership of a company that I helped build. Things seemed normal. I didn't need to talk to a therapist about anything. I didn't have anything that was really going on. And now, in the last 4 months, it's transformed me into a guy who just talks about it. I think about it. Anybody that knows me knows that I can be passionate about things, and I've become pretty passionate about this. I'm going to continue to network out there and find some people who do this sort of thing. I know there has to be a community out there that I'm not aware of. I've already found several links into places that I didn't know exist. I'll find some more. I'll try and do my best to do justice by it, get them in the description. If nobody even ever watches this channel, I'll put them on YouTube. I'll post a link on Instagram. I'll make them into some pretty short videos. I'll try and trim them down a little bit. And I have no idea how to use editing. I've got Vegas, so one of these nights we'll probably be sitting around trying to figure out how to use Sony Vegas and make a clip. Apparently people do it. I can figure it out. I was going to say I really want to give a shout out to those dads. I was in contact with my friend back east, and he's the first guy to talk to me. I told him that I do this to honor my son and to honor him and men like him who reach out and aren't afraid to reach out to another person who's really in the sort of the weirdest place you could possibly find yourself. From 1 minute to the next, reality crashes. It just crashes. You stop thinking coherently, and that can go on for years for some people, for the rest of their life. And I think I really benefited from having somebody to talk to. So anybody ever needs to talk to me, you can find me here. I plan on doing it. Just playing my games and waiting for anybody that might need to chat. And I'm sure there are people out there that need to chat. I need to chat, so I'm going to chat. First thing I'm going to do, though, is get this other page set up, and I'll be right back.